Lori Micah here with the Superpower Challenge channel, where we help you to change your thoughts so that you can have your best life. And today I'm here with a very special guest. This is my little sister, Stephanie Cochran. And I want her to share her story with you about what she's gone through with depression in her life. So, Stephanie, why don't you tell your story?
Thanks for having me here. I am visiting from out of town. I live in Kansas and I just came to visit Lori, and I just wanted to explain that I've had depression since I was little. It's been ever since I can remember, and the earliest age I remember having depression is 6. And a lot of times we don't remember things prior to that unless we've had traumatic experiences. So that was my remembrance of having depression and not feeling like I should be here, feeling like my home was somewhere else.
Which is ironic because as little kids, I don't really particularly remember you acting depressed or having any of those symptoms. I don't know if we have an awareness when we're young like that, but it wasn't like you were pouting in the corner all the time. You might have been a little bit moody, but I don't really remember anything about what I would have labeled as depression.
Right, and I thought everybody could see it. So it's interesting to hear you say that. For me, it was always happening in the evenings. I remember most, just having everything swamp you during the day and feeling overwhelmed during the day. And then at night, you had these thoughts about, I don't feel loved. I don't feel like I should be here. I don't have any friends. That constant spiral that would happen. And for me, you've been pretty much my life coach. And through all my heartaches and bad decisions and traumas, medical problems that I've gone through, it's always this cycle of going back into life is so bad, life is so hard, I have no friends, I'm not loved, I'm not good enough. All these constant bombardments of thoughts that happen, and it's overwhelming for people. And you just get into this cycle where it's this cassette tape that just keeps repeating over and over these bad thoughts. And I remember calling you and you saying, change your thinking, think more positively. And at first I would do it for maybe a second or two while we were on the phone, maybe a minute after. And then I would go back into this repeat pattern. And it took years and years of you coaching and telling me, well, you would say, what are you thinking?
Well, I remember one vivid time, this was in our 20s, and I was at a parking garage in downtown Chicago, and you called me. It wasn't a great place to take a call. And I was literally leaving the parking garage, and you're going down, and I feel like I'm going down this downward spiral, and you're going down this downward spiral. And I was like, stop. What are you telling yourself? And you would tell me this problem, and I would think of how you could turn it around and tell yourself, because I could tell you were in a super, super bad place.
Yes, I remember that. And it was lots of those moments, right? When I went through, was going through my kidney failure, I called you and I was really depressed. I was saying, I don't think I'm going to make it. I feel like I'm dying.
I remember that.
Things are so bad.
And this wasn't just a minimal kidney problem. You wound up having a kidney and a pancreas transplant because you had suffered from juvenile diabetes since you were 12. So you had very complex, complicated medical issues that you were dealing with on top of the feelings of depression. And for clarification purposes, you are on an antidepressant.
I am, yes. And I would probably have to be on that.
But just because you're on that doesn't mean that it eradicates those feelings and those thoughts that have been such an integral part of your life, your whole life, right?
That's true. But changing the way that I'm thinking and the things that I'm telling myself has changed how I feel dramatically. I don't go into these spirals anymore, which I catch myself and I'll have to take a breath mint and be like, oh yeah,
well, talk about taking the challenge, because this is what, well, you know, I challenge you to do just to see how you were.
Right. That's what you suggested I use for my breath mint challenge. And that was easier for me. I went out and I got a huge bottle for
like an econo size.
I did.
Because you thought it was going to be bad.
I did. Because my spiral over my life has been, I have so many negative thoughts. But, so I started it and I was surprised that I didn't have to have very many. The way I think and the things I tell myself has changed dramatically.
That's good.
It was great, and I was so impressed with myself. But it is a constant for people that we're in this loop where we're in this cycle that just keeps, like a cassette tape, keeps going around and around. And what you did was you gave me tools to then recognize what I'm thinking, and then it puts a kink in the tape. And so then it's almost like it rewinds, and you rewind yourself and you say, oh, wait, I'm not going to think this. I'm going to think this instead. One example for you of how this has affected me in changing my thinking is for the life of me, I was having a hard time losing weight. And I recognized every time I went to the mirror, I was saying, you're fat. You look bad in these clothes. And I started changing my thinking and what I was saying to myself, saying, you're skinny. You're losing weight.
That's so powerful.
You're strong. You can do this. And when I did that, I started to drop my weight. So I was already dieting, but I wasn't losing the way I should have been losing. But it was this constant barragement of, oh, you're so fat and you need to lose weight, instead of, oh, you're skinny, you're losing weight, you look good.
And almost seeing yourself as if it's already happened.
Absolutely.
That's a really big key, I think.
Absolutely.
And the other part of it, I think that's really important, is that when you're trying to make a change, a habit takes time. I talk about the Superpower Challenge, trying it for at least 21 days. But when I was a pharmaceutical sales rep and I was selling a drug for smoking cessation, I would talk to medical professionals, and they always said 90 days was really the key to make a really significant life impacting change. So this is an ongoing process. And for you, coupled with depression and antidepressive medications that you're on, this has been almost a lifelong process to get to where you are. So where are you today? How do you feel today?
I feel wonderful. I'm happy. I'm in a loving relationship. I was able to attract the love of my life, which is an energy exchange, you know, that you're putting out there. So if you're thinking these positive things, you're putting these positive things out into the universe.
And we are just pure energy.
Right. And that draws back that same energy to you. So now I'm surrounded by these wonderful people that are uplifting and thinking positively. He doesn't have problems with depression, and he's super positive like you are. So I have this group of people around me that are just inspirational and keep me elevated at a higher vibrational level.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to talk about where Stephanie's path has taken her in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. Remember that you can change your thoughts and have the best life that you deserve to have.